Hey y'all, thanks for stopping in. So from the Daily Mail, Iowa Republican Caucus 2024, everything you need to know from how it works, what it is, to when we will hear the results with Trump the favorite. Let's check it out. Monday night's Iowa caucuses will mark the first time voters will get a say in the presidential election this year. The Iowa caucuses have been the first primary contest since the Democratic caucuses of 1972 and have always been a source of drama. Speaking of which, Donald Trump just this last weekend, for the first time, actually came out and spoke against Vivek Ramaswamy, who, in my opinion, is positioning himself for 2028. He wanted to go in and expose the Democrats and the Republicans on some of the things that they do, as well as set the record straight on a bunch of things that culturally have been, tossed at him, from the LGBT to many things. Let's see here. And let me just show you real quick. It was a Truth Social post that Donald Trump put out. A vote for Vivek is a wasted vote. I like Vivek, but he played it too cute with the U.S. caucus tonight. Vote for Donald J. Trump. Build up the numbers in November. We must take our very troubled nation. A nation is declined back from Crooked Joe and the radical left Democrats and the thugs who are destroying it. And then I have the response here from Vivek as well. I've defended Trump at every step and respect him immensely. You won't hear me attacking him. I'm asking for your vote tonight because I believe it's the right thing for our country. We cannot walk into the other side's trap and watch the puppet masters quickly trot Nikki into power. Now, for me personally, I kind of wish that Vivek would step aside now and guarantee that he's not going to take any votes away from Trump. I'd like to see him stay consistent for the next 4 years, and then he can become the front runner in 2028, because I do like a lot of what he's been saying, and I do hear people calling him a plant and saying that he's never voted for Republican and things like that, and I understand that and I hear that, but if he can maintain consistent over the next 4 years, the things he's been saying, I can't imagine a better candidate. And, Nikki Haley's not going away. So I plan on living past the next 4 years. And so I'm thinking about 2028, 2032. DeSantis has fallen off, and I don't know where he's going to go over these next few years. Hopefully he can regain some steam. But I don't see Nikki Haley going away anytime soon. So I just want to say caution to folks that are dumping on Vivek right now, because he might be the guy. Here I got this X post from Tim Pool. Vivek is brilliant and hardworking, and he knows the issues. But with respect, he is still plan B, and Trump is still the play right now for me, which is something I agree with. I think Trump 2024, then Vivek 2028 is the play. It's what we hoped for with DeSantis. I 100% agree with that. And, like I said, you never know if DeSantis might reemerge. But lately he's fallen off, and I was against him stepping into the arena and running against Trump from the beginning. And I will say that I appreciate Ron DeSantis as the best governor in the country, and I'm proud to say that I voted for him twice. But with that, he's not the right guy for president 2024, and I'm less confident in him as the guy for 2028 because of all that has transpired in his campaign this year. Had he not joined the battle, he would still, in my opinion, be the front runner for 2028, no doubt. But things have changed, and somehow Nikki Haley has all this favor, even though I have never met one person that says I would prefer Nikki Haley over Trump, or I'd prefer Nikki Haley over DeSantis, or even Vivek. I don't know. Have you? Well, it's all polls, but I mean, I don't know, right? And I got this other X post here from Matt Walsh. I don't care that Trump attacked Vivek. They're running against each other. This is politics. It is what it is, but if your own professed opinion about Vivek is now changed on a dime because Trump said so, that says a lot more about you than it does about either of those guys. And I 100% agree with that. And it's sad because this statement is so true. But the fact remains that, like I said, I plan on living longer than the next 4 years. So I want to have good leadership in this country every year. And the infighting between the top Republican candidates hurts whoever doesn't emerge at the top in the future. That's why I didn't want DeSantis to enter this race, because I knew Trump would destroy him. You don't go up against Trump. Trump is a competitor, and you step in the arena with him, he's gonna smash you if he can, and he can. So don't get me wrong, Trump is definitely the best option for us in the next 4 years. But after that, what? We just want to crush everybody that's trying? Or do we want to get stuck with one of these corporate bought Nikki Haley types? Oh, are you looking forward to Nikki Haley versus Gavin Newsom in 2028? No. We need Vivek. We need DeSantis in the future. We need Candace Owens types even. And that's really what it is. I'm just disappointed when these candidates who are essentially on the same side go at each other. So back to the Iowa caucus. Thousands will brave the life-threatening cold to head to the 1,657 precincts across the freezing, snow-covered state to choose who they want to be the GOP nominee for president. The winner gains crucial momentum and up to 40 delegates for the convention as the candidates head on to votes in bigger states. Former President Trump, 77, goes into the vote with a 28-point lead in polls over the rest of the field, with Nikki Haley in second and Ron DeSantis in third. The caucus's history of chaos, upsets, and voting glitches means multiple surprise outcomes are still possible. How do the caucuses work, and what do voters need to do? So Iowa's Republican Party has released a list of 1,657 caucus sites which are determined by a voter's address. Iowa's Republican Party Chairman Jeff Kaufman said Saturday that the party is doing everything it can to get voters registered for the caucuses indoors, as the lows are expected to get into the negative teens Monday night. Goodness gracious. Those eligible to caucus must vote in the state of Iowa and turn 18 by the date of the general election, November 5th, 2024. Only registered Republicans can participate in the GOP caucuses, but voters are able to change their party registration on caucus night. They must bring a photo ID and proof of residence. Once eligible, caucus goers are inside. They will elect a chair and a secretary to preside over the precinct. Each campaign is given time for a speech before voting starts. Candidates can come to caucus sites and make pitches for themselves or dole out the duty to surrogates. In 2016, for example, former President Donald Trump, who is leading the Iowa and national polls for the 2024 GOP nomination, showed up to a caucus site outside of Des Moines in Clive, Iowa. Senator Marco Rubio, former Senator Rick Santorum, and Ben Carson were also on hand to make a pitch for their campaigns, while surrogates represented former Florida Governor Jeb Bush, Texas Senator Ted Cruz, and other candidates. After the speeches wrap up, it's time to vote. So when do the caucuses begin? And when will the winner be announced? Like many recent elections in the U.S., there will be a dramatic wait for the result that could take less than an hour or potentially days. The Iowa Republican caucus will begin at 7 p.m. local time. Attendees must be at their chosen local precinct by then to listen to speeches before casting their ballots. They will use secret paper ballots to write down their choice. Some may even raise their hands to show their support or stand in an area denoting who they have picked. Volunteers or caucus captains will enter the count into an online system, and the final tallies will be published on an Iowa Republican Party website. The Republicans, like the Democrats, are using an app to report results, but Kaufman assured reporters Saturday that the Iowa GOP's Des Moines headquarters that they had developed their own app and already successfully used it for 2 cycles. In 2020, the app the Iowa Democratic Party used malfunctioned, meaning the results of the Iowa caucuses were delayed and not made official until 6 days after the gatherings occurred. Yeah, right? Typical. Results from the smaller precincts will be available after around 30 minutes, while the larger counts could take hours. We could know the winner on Monday night, especially if Trump is ahead by an insurmountable margin. It could be a very long evening if there are issues or a close contest, and there is a history in Iowa for delayed or wrong results. Trump, DeSantis, Nikki Haley, and Vivek are all holding events in Des Moines with supporters after caucusing concludes Monday night. So what is a caucus and how is it different from a primary? The word caucus is believed to have originated from a Native American term, an Algonquin reference to a gathering of tribal leaders. Instead of polling stations, the Midwestern state has caucus sites, including school gymnasiums, public libraries, or a family kitchen. People go to their local caucus site at a designated time in the evening, and a representative of each candidate addresses them. They then cast their votes, and the results at each site or precinct are counted. In the past, the small numbers of voters have led to ties being settled by a coin toss. The system differs from a primary in which polling stations are open all day and voters can cast mail-in ballots. The local party runs it while the state runs primaries. The vast majority of states hold primaries. And will the brutal winter weather have an impact? Forecasters predict Monday will be the coldest caucus in history. Well, let's hope not, because this is important and I hope people are able to get to it, but it definitely will affect some people being able to show up. Temperatures will plunge below freezing and wind chills will make it even colder. Candidates have had to cancel events because of the snow, wreaking havoc on their closing bids to Iowans. Voters must be at the precincts in person, so they will have to navigate the snow and arrive on time. Iowa voters are used to the conditions and take a responsibility of taking part in the caucus seriously. Experts predict it won't impact turnout too much. There are 757,200 registered Republicans in the state, and the record turnout was 187,000 in 2016 when Ted Cruz beat Trump. Earlier in the week, top Republican strategist Jimmy Senters, who isn't aligned to any of the candidates, told DailyMail.com a robust ground operation is key, and Trump has been the best among the contenders. DeSantis has built a really strong organization with caucus location captains for every side across the state, said Senters. In any other year, that would be the gold standard for a caucus organization. Former President Trump's team has had the benefit of having worked in the state for 8 years and built deep, meaningful relationships across the state. So can anyone beat Trump in Iowa? He has an average of a 30-point lead in the polls. The polls suggest no, but Iowa has produced many shock results. The average of recent polls show Trump at 51%, ahead of DeSantis at 19%, and Nikki Haley at 16%. That has been the case for many weeks. Observers of Iowa note that the electorate can move behind a candidate at a very late stage. The amount of time a candidate has spent in the state meeting voters in person should also be not underestimated, and Trump has visited less than his rivals. DeSantis has completed the full Grassley, named after the state's Senator Chuck Grassley, which means visiting all 99 counties. A lot also depends on how well a campaign gets its voters out to caucus sites. Many people have other commitments on a cold January night or a lack of childcare. However, Gentry Collins, a veteran Republican strategist who ran Mitt Romney's 2008 caucus campaign, said, "For me, it looked like for a long time there was a narrow lane, but there was a lane for a non-Trump candidate, but there isn't really a single alternative people can really rally around." So what does the Iowa winner get, and how does it help in the nomination process? At stake are 40 delegates Iowa sends to the National Republican Convention, who in turn help nominate the party's presidential candidate. The 40 delegates are awarded proportionally, so the winner does not get a big advantage. In 2016, Ted Cruz won Iowa with 27.6% and was awarded 8 delegates. Donald Trump and Marco Rubio, who finished second and third, both got 7. After the chaotic 1968 Democratic National Convention, the party decided to spread out the nominating process. Iowa had a complex process, and so it was allowed to go first in 1972. The Republican Party then also put Iowa first in 1976, and that has remained the case since, despite gripes from other states. Critics claim the Midwestern state is not representative of the rest of America and doesn't have enough people to justify its position at the start of the election calendar. Who cares who goes first? Everybody gets to vote. So why is Iowa so important? The so-called Big Mo for the winner. The 40 delegates awarded by Iowa make up only 1.6% of the total delegates that will be sent to the National Republican Convention by the states to choose the presidential nominee. However, Iowa is viewed by candidates, donors, and political strategists as a testing ground because it gives the first actual result of the process. The winner gets momentum, what George H. Bush called the Big Mo after he won Iowa in 1980. Donors who have been on the fence start giving money to the winner, while candidates who don't do well in Iowa are pressured to drop out. And I've heard that DeSantis is going to drop out after this if he doesn't win, so we'll see if that's actually true. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up there. I hope whoever you guys are rooting for wins, as long as that's Trump. And if you agree with that, I'm going to ask you to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.